It's like an hour south. Like an hour south of like San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Kinda
from
like
San
San
Francisco.
Okay.
So I'm like.
I'm from Camarillo, that's where I grew up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Down by like
Hey, champion.
Westlake.
All
No.
right,
my
I'm
alma
gonna
mater.
do got it
94.
here.
Mine just turned 84. So
Got it. All right, cool. Do you need to share a screen?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna make you the host.
I think I am the host.
Oh, you are? Are you
Should
sure?
be. Yeah, I think so.
All right, can you attempt to share the screen?
Let's see.
Oh, there you go.
Good.
All right. Yeah. All right. What are you teaching on today?
So this is the website class.
Oh,
I haven't switched mine over yet.
I need to do that class.
I need to switch
except
mine
I
over.
can't. All righty.
So, hi, Kevin.
Hello. I can't see everyone, but who all we got in there?
just me. And
It's you.
there she is.
Hello.
Hey. It's here. I think Grace is coming in too in a second.
Okay. Did either of you have your website set up already?
You know, I had it on the old one and I never switched it over because like I was irritated about like it switching its name to like .kw, but now I just need to get it done, so.
Yeah.
I never did anything else with it.
It's gonna be like a website that you pay for the domain and everything.
You don't have to pay for a domain, so you could buy one if you want, but it gives you a free one.
Okay.
So it'll just be like your name.kw.com.
Gotcha.
All right. I guess small group today. I like it. You guys get some private training. So y'all ready to get started?
Yep.
All right. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. So this is how the website is going to look once you get it set up. The old ones were kind of outdated. The reason they kind of made these new ones was to kind of keep up with all the big competitors like Zillow and Redfin and Trulia. I think that's what's called. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very simple and user friendly. So anyway, that's kind of the end product, and I'll go a little into the consumer side of the website once we get it set up. I just want to show you how it looks in the end. So to get started, you're going to go into command. And we're going to start at the top right corner. You're going to click on your name and then go into settings. Hopefully it won't go too slow today. Hello, Connie.
Hey, Kevin, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Of
Thanks for letting me join you,
course.
because my website is non-existent. Or not non-existent. I think when we went through the switchover from the old systems to the new, I must not have hit some button to make it go live. I don't know. So I'm going to listen to the expert.
All righty. I like it. You're in the right place.
Thank you.
All right. So in case you didn't hear that, we started out in command, clicked on the name in the top right corner and go into settings. And then on the left side, we're going to go to connect settings and into the marketing profile. Now this stuff is going to be used for like designs as well. So it's a good place to get started. And it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to go through these top two. You're just going to upload your headshot. And if you have a team logo, you can upload it there. If you don't have a team logo, a lot of people will use the little Realtor R symbol, but really whatever you want to put in there. And on the website, it's going to show up just like this. This is where your logo is going to go.
Mhm.
And then you're just going to follow through the prompts here. Your name, license number, team name. Again, if you don't have a team, then you could just put Realtor or real estate professional, whatever you want to put in there. I leave the designations and credentials blank just because I thought it looked kind of funny. I think it shows up on the bottom here. It just kind of throws them right there without explaining what they are. And, you know, consumers don't really know what a SRS is or, you know, any of that stuff. So I leave mine blank. Looks like they added in a new blank here for military affiliation. It's kind of cool. Underneath that, you have your bio. Yeah, you can put in there. Is that on there? Veteran, military spouse. No. Your bio, if you don't have a bio yet, I recommend, you know, going to Google, looking up some of the top agents and kind of getting some inspiration from what they put in theirs. But really it just kind of explains about you, maybe what you did before real estate, how long you've been in the business, who you prefer to work with. After that, phone number, email, and then your website. So if you haven't set it up yet, you can leave that blank and just come back to it. But really, this is more for the designs. If you go and make a flyer, it's going to pull in information like your website contact info. Underneath that, you have our market center information. You can find our brokerage logo on the intranet, or you can go to kwconnect.com and download them. And you'll basically download the file or the folder that has all the different sizes and like one with the white background, one that's transparent. So for this one, I usually just put in either the white one or the transparent one.
Kevin, is there a trick to knowing what size is best for a website?
For the logo?
Yeah, for logos or pictures.
Not really. I mean, like you'll see here, it says recommended 360 by 360, but obviously our office logo is long. It's not 360 by 360. So that's not a requirement. That's just what they recommend. But really it's just kind of playing with it. Like put something in. If it looks too small, then maybe stretch it out and try again.
So
Yep.
for us computer literate people, is a
Mhm.
360 by 360, is that literally the size or is that more the density of the photograph? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good question. I mean, I think when it comes to pixels, the more there are, the higher quality it's going to be.
Right.
But essentially it comes down to the shape. So 360 by 360 is
The
going to be a square. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Some of you in the room might be more literate when it comes to that kind of stuff. Feel free to chime in. Compliance stuff here, I leave it blank because you'll see when you build the website at the bottom, they have all of this compliance built in. So I think some states require extra verbiage. As far as I know, we don't. So don't quote me on that, but I leave mine blank. And then at the bottom, you have the option to put in your social media hyperlinks. So again, those are going to show up at the bottom here, right under your information. So people can click and go directly to your socials. And then the Google Analytics ID, it's a bit more advanced. I don't use it personally, but essentially the way it works is you can sign up through Google to be able to track where traffic is coming to your website from. So if you're interested in that, you can go to YouTube and look up, Google Analytics, Keller Williams website, and there's a lot of videos on how to connect that. But it's kind of complicated unless you're, really trying to source where all your traffic's coming from, then I don't find a need for it. And then once you finish that, go ahead and save. So marketing profile is done. Now we're going to go in and actually create the website. So on the left side here, we're going to go down to the consumer tab at the very bottom. And this is pretty much where everything is where all the settings are for your website and your mobile app. And we wait.
Kevin, where's the consumer tab?
It's on the very bottom of the tabs on the left side of command. All right, so to start, and to be honest, I haven't seen a brand new command account where it's not set up yet in a while. So there might be two different spots. The first one you'll see here, it says configure your site at the top right corner. But if I click on it, it basically just says, and you click on, I want to use the new KW site. Mine just says you're all set. So if you don't see that on a brand new account, what you're going to do is go into this top right corner and click on Site and App Settings. And then, are you guys following along? Does anyone have a brand new account?
I mean, mine says I want to use the new KW agent site.
Okay. So if you click,
account.
yeah, so if you click on that, does it just say you're all set, or does it bring you to another page?
Like if I hit submit,
Uh-huh.
It says you are all set. No other action is required at this time.
Okay. All right. So do what I just did and go to this top right corner and go to Site and App Settings.
All right.
And then we're going to click right at the top, Learn More with Kelly Guides. And then we're going to go on the left and click on Agent Site and then continue. And essentially this guide is going to walk us through step-by-step how to get the initial website up and running. So we're going to click on Get Started at the bottom.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm trying to set up the thing and it says the URL provided contains errors. What was I supposed to put for the website?
Let's see. Are you on this page that I'm on right here?
No, I'm on the still like setting up the marketing profile.
Oh, on the marketing profile?
Yeah.
So in the settings?
Yeah.
Okay. I would leave that blank for now.
It wouldn't let me go forward. I tried to and it wouldn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is the URL that you're trying to put in there?
Should I just like put in what I want my
Where you
website
want
to
yours-
be?
Yeah, like mine has my name, but I paid for it like a long time ago. That's what was on my place.
Oh, okay, so,
Yeah, so if it's not letting you go through, maybe just put in like google.com for now or something, or
okay.
something to fill it so you're able to move on. But yeah, it's probably because you haven't set up the website yet, so it's trying to check to make sure it's valid and it's not finding anything.
Still not working. Oh, well. I'll watch and take notes.
Okay. That's strange. I mean, you can just back out of the marketing profile maybe, and then circle back to it.
How do you put your name?
Yeah, that's what I did, and then it didn't.
Very strange.
I'm just trying to put someone else's email address in for instead of mine, it keeps autofilling someone else's email address.
What?
Huh.
Into your own. I
Is your
know.
on your profile?
Maybe I'll log out and log back in and see what happens.
Yeah, always a good idea. All right, so back on this page. So basically, we're just going to go step by step through this guide. So this first one is your subdomain name. So this is basically the name of your website. A lot of people either use their team name or their personal name, or you could get fancier with it and, you know, eastcobbrealestate.kw.com or something. And basically, once you put it in, you'll confirm it. And if it's already taken, then it won't allow you to use that name. So you might have to try a few if you're trying to get creative with it. And then underneath that, you'll see the marketing profile information. So that's why we started on the marketing profile, because now we don't have to fill it out. It should just pull all this information right in. So just go through and double check that everything looks good.
Wait, what was that, Kevin?
Which part? Going into the marketing profile information.
We're going back. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're not going back to settings where we started. I was just showing you that the next step on this is basically why we started there. It's going to pull all that information in for us.
Gotcha.
So if you don't start by going to the settings, then you could just fill this out manually, but then you'll be just doing it twice. So, but yeah, go through, make sure everything looks good. And then we're just going to save and continue. All right, next is the style and theme. So there's two options. You can do the KW red theme or the dark theme. I don't notice tons of differences with them, but I always just use the red because it's our color. Your homepage text. So that's what you see right here, right on top of the search bar. I can't remember what I think that's what it starts with, but if it's not, then what I usually do is see what the competitors are doing. So Zillow, change starts here. What else we got? Redfin. Find homes first, tour homes fast. So I don't know, whatever you want to put in there. I kept it simple. Let's find your dream home. Your hero page, your homepage hero image. So I believe if you're doing this for the first time, it has 5 images that are pre-built in there. So for now, I would leave those and just go on to the next step. And then later, if you want to go back and change them, it's very easy to do so. So you'll see with me, I put in pictures of Atlanta because I wanted it to be a little more localized than just, you know, the default aerial shots of neighborhoods. And then we're just going to save and continue. All right, this is the part where it gets a little more in depth because you actually have to put in content to the website. So you start out the search engine optimization. your page title, this first blank, is what's going to show up in the navigation on your website. So if someone's on your website, that's what's going to show up on the right side. It's basically your menu. So this first one, company profile. So basically, when you're creating this website from scratch like we are now, you'll see under the navigation, it's going to come up with 3 basic pages to get started with. And then from there, you can go add more pages. So basically, you have company profile. So that could either be about Keller Williams as a whole, or about maybe our specific Keller Williams Atlanta North Market Center. Or you could just delete everything out of there and really make the page whatever you want. But for new agents, I would recommend sticking to Keller Williams, how big of a company we are, how long we've been around. So in here, you could say about Keller Williams. The URL slug is what shows up after your subdomain. So this one would say pattyjackson.kw.com/ maybe Keller Williams. And then SEO description, I wouldn't worry too much about. It's not required, so you can leave it blank. But essentially the way it works is if someone goes to Google and looks up, Keller Williams agents or something, the SEO description is what shows up underneath. So basically all this information right under the links you click on. So it just kind of explains what's going on that page. I'm not the best at SEO optimization, but if any of you are, then please teach me. And then under that, you have the content for the page. So to give you an idea, I don't think I actually have this company profile on mine. But if I were to click on one of these pages that I've created, so basically you have the header at the top, the subheader, and then all the information underneath that. So page header, that's what's going to show up at this very top part. Intro paragraph is the little intro. And then after that, you get to add in kind of all the details you want and pictures. And once you have all that filled out, we're going to continue to the next page. And just to keep in mind, you can always go back and edit these pages. So don't worry about making it perfect right off the bat. You can always go in and make little edits and clean it up. The main thing is getting your website online. Because to be honest, when people are going to our website, I think it's pretty rare that they're clicking through all of our different pages. This is the page they care about, the home search.
Kevin, do those changes that you make in there in the profile and in the content, does that just dynamically save, or do you have to hit something to save it?
So what I'm doing now is different than going back in later and editing, but I'm pretty sure when you're going back and editing later, it automatically will update as soon as you save the page.
Okay.
So I'll show you how to do that once we finish this up. We'll test it out.
Thank you.
All right, so last one was company profile. This is the about you profile. So it starts with about me. I changed ours to about Patty, about Kevin. So you'll see how these 2 different pages look. So this one just has the headshot at the top, whereas the other one had a full-size picture with the words in the middle. So you can kind of play around with the different page types and see what looks best for what page you're trying to create. But same as before, page title, this is what shows up in the menu on your website. The URL slug right after that. And then your SEO description, that is optional. And then you go into content. So it should automatically pull this from your marketing profile again. So basically, just like before, you have the title at the top, your real estate title underneath that, and then the bio title, which is kind of the header of the bottom section. It's going to pull in your bio and then your contact information. So this is a very simple page. It's basically just your bio and a way for them to contact you. And hopefully if you filled it all out in the marketing profile, it won't take long to get through. And then the last one is just a generic contact form. So basically just like before, page title, URL, go down to content. And essentially it's just going to say at the top, what do you want it to say? Contact us, get in touch today, a little intro paragraph. Which I don't know if this is the default or if this is one that I created in the past, but and then this message hint, so that's going to show up at the bottom just to kind of give people an idea, like if they're going to message you, what should they talk about? All right, hopefully I didn't mess that up. So at that point, once you hit save, your website should be created. It might take a little bit of time for it to actually be online to where you can go to your URL and it shows up. I think it takes a little while. So I'm just going to X out of this guide now that we went through it. And there's two things I want to show you because sometimes once the website goes live, you'll see that when you type in your URL, it just brings you to an unbranded generic Keller Williams website. And I don't know why, but there's two different spots you can go to hopefully fix that. First one is where we just were in the site and app settings. So we're going to click on that. And then you'll see at this top left corner, it says use my information to brand my agent site. You just want to toggle this off and then on again. And that should hopefully fix the issue. If that doesn't work, the second spot is back in settings in your marketing profile. So settings, connect settings, marketing profile, and then you'll see that same pointless toggle at the top. Use my information to brand my site. So just turn it off and on, and hopefully that will update all your information onto the website. I get a lot of calls from people that spend a lot of time building their website, and then they say it's not branded. I don't know why, but silly feature. All right. So at this point, once the website is created online, it might take a little time, but now you can go in and make those changes you want. So what you're going to do is go back into the consumer tab. And at this point, you should see those 3 pages you just created. So it should say like about me, about Keller Williams, and I think contact us. So from there, you'll see on the right side, it says view and the eyeball's lit up. That means it is a live page on your website. And if you want to go in and change it, you just click on these 3 dots on the right and click on edit. And it's going to bring you to the website design platform. So basically the way this works, and I'll kind of show you one from scratch as well, but if I wanted to go and change this one that I already created, I go to the bottom right corner to configure widgets. And then I click on agent profile. And from here, I can go in and make those changes. So I'm going to try this to answer Connie's question from earlier. So basically, let's make sure it added to my website first. Yeah. So about me. So this is the page that I just created. So if I'm in command and I make a change, I'm going to save it and then click on publish. hopefully it'll automatically update it. And it did.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those two because I already have those pages on my website. That's another thing you can do if you want to get rid of a page. Just like when you go to edit it, you just click on delete. And if you don't want to actually delete the page, you just want to get rid of it from the website, but maybe come back to it later. There is a way to do that I'll get to. But that's the easy way to make edits. I'm going to go to Site and App Settings at the top right corner now and show you some of the other changes you can make. So on this first page under the General tab, you can go back in and change the verbiage on the front page. You can swap out the pictures. I don't know if you can change the order. I think to change the order, you actually have to re-download them. But basically, it's just going to filter through those. So it doesn't really matter which one it starts with. The download app landing page, I would just keep that verbiage default. I'll show you what that landing page looks like in a second. And then virtual tours, so you can actually go in and add virtual tours to your listings. I've never actually played with that, but because I think it automatically pulls it in, assuming you put that virtual tour in the MLS. So maybe it's for states that don't allow you to put it in the MLS. And then save changes is at the bottom. So always make sure you save as you go. This next tab is your URLs. So if you wanted to change your domain name, you can do that here. I would recommend finding one and sticking with it, because if you consistently change it, then no one's going to be able to remember what it is, and you're going to have to update all your marketing consistently. But this is a good spot where if you ever wanted to share your app URL, then you could just go in here and copy it. So essentially, this is going to be a link I can send someone that if they click on it, they can download my branded app. So they don't just go to the App Store and download the Keller Williams app. They're going in and getting my branded app. And the reason for that, the reason we are setting up our branded website, which comes with the branded app, is when a consumer, so like I am logged in right here as a consumer, and I actually just registered on the website earlier. I went to log in and I created a brand new account. The good part is how Command and this consumer website connect together. So I created my own account. I go in and search for a home. And let's say I like this one over here. I don't like that one very much. Say I like this one.
So they can go in and set up their own search,
Right.
as opposed to us setting up one in FMLS or Georgia MLS.
Correct. Yeah. And I still use FMLS. I tell them, you know, this is a supplement, another option, I guess.
And can we see on the backside what they're looking at?
Yes. Yes. I'll show you that right now. So say I, as the consumer, like this house here. I click on the little favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I could add a new collection. I could say, you know, Marietta. These are all the homes I like in Marietta. And I go and save it. So first off, when I created this new consumer profile earlier, a couple things happened. First, because I have the Command mobile app on my phone, I got a notification that said some person just registered on your website. When I'm in Command, this little notification bell at the top, you'll see when I click on it, it says agent site notification. So I click on that and it's going to show me my info as the consumer that I just put in on the website. And then you'll see on the right, this person created a collection and saved this specific property.
And can you set up an automated, thanks for registering on my website message?
I think you actually get an email, if I remember right, but I don't know if you can customize it.
Okay.
But what you could do is, and whole other class on smart plans, but you could create a smart plan campaign all about new website registrations. And as soon as you get that notification on your phone, you just go into that contact and then add them to, whatever smart plan.
Gotcha.
And while we're in here, I'll show you real quick. So on the timeline, I can see what this contact is doing. So they're looking at these homes, they're saving these homes. What I can actually do if I want to is go to the right side and click on saved searches. And I can actually go and create a search for them. So basically just like on the MLS where you go and, fill out the criteria. So you can do it, I guess, only by neighborhood and zip code right now. I think they're working on adding a little more criteria. Let's say I wanted to do one for 30068, price range. I'm not going to find anything for 200 there, but say 2 to 8, kind of wide price range. So you just go through and then give it a search title. So for this one, I might say 30068. And then what I can also do is click on this toggle here for send email notifications. And you can choose how frequently you want these people to receive updates. So on that last step where I clicked zip code instead of neighborhood, one of the good things about neighborhood is you could go to a contact that's in your database, maybe someone that's not looking to buy or sell. And you could say, hey, how about I send you, an email every week or two with your neighborhood activity, and you add their specific neighborhood and send them, the homes that come up for sale.
It would seem to me that they're going to want a map capability. Because I don't know about everybody else, but I so often I want to be within a certain distance of my job or my kid's school or something like that. And so it really becomes more of a mapping thing. Because if you don't know the zip code, you got to do the work to figure out what zip codes that covers.
Yeah. So this is just what we are creating for our client.
Gotcha.
But the client themselves can go in here and they can click on draw.
Oh, so they can do a map.
And they can say, I want to be in here.
Gotcha. I thought you said it was only neighborhoods and zip codes right now.
So that's when we are creating a search for them.
Oh.
So they would have to do this themselves.
Well, that seems backwards.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, like Zillow's not creating searches for people. They're going to Zillow, they're drawing their map and they're saving it. So essentially these people are going to our website, they're playing around, clicking buttons. They draw a little area like this. And then what they can do is click save search. And just like we created it, they can choose, how often do they want to receive emails. So really for our website, I'm not necessarily setting people up on searches. They're doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. But it is something you could go in, you could create a search for them and send them a text like, hey, I saw you were looking houses in, this zip code. Have you considered this zip code? Take a look. But yeah, that's essentially how it works on there. And it's going to just, keep you updated on everything they're looking at. So let me go back to the consumer tab and see where we left off here. back to the site and app settings. All right, so general URLs is where we were last. Featured listings, so you can, feature specific listings if you want. If there's like just some beautiful home in the area that you want to put on your website on the home page. So like, I don't think mine's gonna even show up because that's a listing that we sold a while back, but it shows up right underneath the search bar. So if you have your own listings that you want to kind of prioritize on your website, you can. I've also seen people just go out and find some crazy $1 million beautiful homes and put those on there. Make it seem like they're your listings, even though they're kind of not. So that's your featured listings. You just go to select and then you search for the property, and it's pretty straightforward. Your theme, same as before, choose red or dark. Not many options there. And then agent site pages. This is kind of a big one. So you created your website, so you should see 3 pages on here now: your company profile, your about me, and then the contact form. What you can do is click on add page and then create a new site. This is kind of what we were looking at before when we went to edit, but now it's just a blank page. So on the right side are your different widgets you can choose from. And you can get really creative with what you want to, what kind of content you want to put on them. But starting out, I would recommend this download my app one at the bottom right corner. All you do is click and drag it over here and drop it. And then you go down to the, it's not wanting to load. Maybe it's just taking time. See what's going on there. Oh, there we go. Maybe I dragged it in the wrong spot. So essentially this one, you don't have to customize at all. It's just a pre-built page to download your app. So when you go to configure, I guess you can customize the verbiage if you want, but they fill it in for you, so you don't really need to. And it's going to have that branded URL to go download your app from the App Store. So when you save that, that page looks like this. So then if you ever wanted to send your app to someone, instead of sending them that branded one, you could say, go to my website /app and you can download my search app. And essentially the app and the website are identical for the consumer. So if they create an account on your website, then they can use that same login on the app and they communicate between each other. I guess just like Zillow and all the other search websites. Back out of there. Again, on this agent site page tab, you can go and you can rearrange the order of your pages. And then this is also where you can go and change the title, the URL slug, and that SEO description that we did when we initially created the website. All right, any questions on that? No, it's a lot to take in. All right, last thing I want to touch on is kind of the other part. So this person created an account on my website. I contacted them. Now we're working together. They're my client. They're looking for homes to buy. One of the cool things about our website is not only the searching, but they also have a guide that you can create. So if they go to the guide here, you can basically, whether they're buying or selling, explain all the different steps of the process. So they can go in like, rather than calling you and being like, hey, what's next? If you take the time and really build this guide out, which I haven't, to be honest, but I love the idea of it. They go and they say, I want to get started on the buying process. What's the first step? First step is meet for this buyer's consultation. Once they do that, they can go and mark it as completed and move on to the next one. And being Keller Williams, they're trying to push Keller Mortgage. So that's some unfortunate thing that we can't get rid of unless you like Keller Mortgage. But I like our local lenders personally. So essentially, as they're going through, they can mark steps as being completed. So, these first few is just kind of consultation, touring, but you could go a little more in depth on, the under contract process, which I think is pretty huge. Because once they get one under contract, obviously there's a lot to remember. So this kind of gives you a chance to put it in front of them without having to explain, in depth every day. I think it'll cut down on those phone calls where people are like, well, what's next? And but yeah, essentially in the way you customize that is back in command, you go to the top where it says guide builder. And I think by default, like they kind of have like their template, but you can go in and actually change them up. So you have your buyers and your sellers. You click on the 3 dots on the right side and you edit. And then at the top, you'll see guide and introduction. So introduction was that first page where I clicked get started. It just kind of says, welcome, we're excited to work with you. In the guide, you can rearrange the steps by clicking these dots on the left. Or if you want to edit the step, you just click on it and fill out the information on the right. So you can put in pictures, text, titles. I don't know why it's grayed out. Weird. Let me try refreshing. Well, it's supposed to let me edit, but it is not. But anyway, that's how you should edit them. And then at the very bottom, you could add your own steps. So if there's something in here that you do that isn't in the default one, you can go in and add your own step. So like, for example, I guess I already put in a due diligence period one myself, but I don't think that was in the default one. I think it's just kind of like goes from contract to inspection. So I wanted to put one in that kind of explains, what is the due diligence period. So I basically went in to add a step, put in due diligence period. Subtitle is just what shows up right underneath that. Put an image in there.
Like we might want to put one in for earnest money payments.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Image require. But essentially, once you create those initial ones, so that's what you see right here, it should pull up on the right side where you can go in and add all that different content. And then let's see here. The way this works, the way it all kind of communicates together is, so like I'm working with this person now, they're starting to go through the guide. If I go into my opportunities, so I have a client that, I'm working with and I have an opportunity created for, which I don't think I have any right now that are actually using the website, but we'll see. So you'll see here the buyer profile within the opportunity. It'll say, they are registered with the app and this is the step they are on in the guide. So again, that's, a completely optional thing. And unless you're really pushing it, I don't think your clients are going to automatically go into that guide and go through the steps. But I do love the concept of it because, you can provide a lot of value and, cut back on the client not knowing where they are throughout the process. That's just about it. Any questions or?
I have a question.
Sure.
You know, like Playster where there was like an option for them to, I guess, redirect from the website that we had created, the URL. that we
Uh-huh.
created. I don't see that anywhere in here. So
You mean like if someone goes to,
so like my website was just yvettemcfall.com, right? So now
Uh-huh.
it's yvettemcfall.kw.com because they don't allow you to put
to
it in.
mask. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So what you need,
Playster, like you could just put in the website and it would redirect. It went and like registered or whatever and like forwarded it. Because I don't remember having to go in and like doing like a DNS change or anything like that.
yeah.
I don't see that option here for it to like actually connect to my actual website to do that automated forwarding.
Right. So yeah, it's not built into here. What you have to do is actually go into, GoDaddy or Google Sites, wherever you got it from. And what you can do if you go to YouTube, just look up Keller Williams website, URL forwarding or domain forwarding. There's a lot of videos on there about the different domain platforms. Like I use GoDaddy and it explained to me, how to set up all the settings on GoDaddy.com.
So are you redirecting from Keller Williams back to your original website, or are you redirecting your website, your marketing website to the new Keller Williams?
So we do it. So essentially on the Keller Williams website, I don't know if there's an option to actually mask it, but essentially someone can go to psjackson.com and it's going to forward them to the Keller Williams website.
You're redirecting your marketing to the Keller Williams from.
Correct. Yeah. Because I know on Playster, you could actually mask every single page. So it would still say psjackson.com and
Right.
then jackson.com/about-me.
They also did like the automated, like they connected it automatically, I think.
Yeah. They definitely made it easy.
Yeah. So, okay. So you don't know how to like.
Yeah, I know in the past you couldn't actually mask it, you could only forward it.
Well, and I'm not, and I think that's why I didn't do it for a while, but like now I just want to not worry about it and get it done. But now I just still, I still need to redirect the marketing one to the Keller Williams one on my own, essentially, is what you're telling me. Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, this one was 2 years ago. Yeah.
This site builder in command.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially it's done through the domain website, not through command.
So are you familiar with name silo? Do you know how to do it there?
With what?
Name silo.
Name silo. I've never heard of that. So I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, unfortunately. But I just Googled, mask domain name, Keller Williams website. So this one's GoDaddy. This one is, I think a lot of people use GoDaddy, but I would think if you go to YouTube and look up that specific website and then Keller Williams domain, I'm sure someone out there uses it and has made something. Or maybe, a lot of them have very similar settings. So you could watch, the GoDaddy one and, kind of translate it over to the site you use. That makes sense.
Yes.
Wish I had a better answer for that.
I wish they built it in.
Yeah, that would be really nice if they had it built in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how Playster did that because you definitely have to set it up like through your domain website. Maybe they just had like partnerships with the different companies. Not too sure. Cool. Anything else? You all gonna go create your websites now?
Heck yeah.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Have a good day, guys.